So the question remains, just how reliable are those labels you see on the back of supplements? Frank Jack says some labs fake tests and simply rubber stamp ingredients.
A term that we use is the word dry lab.
Dry lab. And what does that mean?
That means that the sample comes in, the sample goes in the garbage can, never gets tested, and the report goes out.
Jax runs a large testing company called Chromadex. He's a defender of supplements because he knows there are plenty of honest supplement makers. In fact, some of them hire his company when they want to verify what's in their products. But Frank Jack says when he started double-checking results from other labs, he was finding so many mistakes, he started to think some labs were just fancy fronts, pretending to do testing.
It appears that it's essentially a case of rubber stamping.
Is this a situation where dangerous products are getting on the market because of phony test results?
Absolutely.
Could some labs really be faking those critical tests? To find out, we set up our own supplement company, Liferoot Naturals. And to give labs something to analyze, we create two supposedly all-natural products. We're calling this white powder Burn, our natural weight loss formula.
We're going to close the door to get an accurate measurement.
But Dateline asks experts in Frank Jax's lab to deliberately add two different poisons. Selenium, that's what caused people's hair to fall out, and sibutramine, the dangerous diet drug recalled because it caused heart attacks. We also create a second supplement we're calling Kelp, and we add poisons to it too.
We spiked in certain levels of both arsenic and lead.
Arsenic? That's what they used to put in rat poisoning.
Yeah.
Lead, also dangerous.
Highly regulated, both of them.
The poisons are carefully blended in. Frank Jack says there's no way a lab should miss them. So armed with our spiked samples, it's time to test one of the lab's industry sources told us may be rubber stamping ingredients.
Chris?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, very well, thank you, Chris.
We're undercover. I'm pretending to be the president of Liferoot Naturals, our new supplement company. Dr. Dinesh Patel runs a testing lab called Atlas Bioscience.
These are gas chromatographic mass spectrometers.
He gives us a tour of his lab and tells us how some companies even post his lab's certifications online to show they're doing things right.
We have two products. One is the Liferoot Naturals kelp powder. We have the other product, which is a weight loss supplement called Burn.
In effect, I'm hiring Dr. Patel to be part of my team to help make sure my supplements are safe.
Our suppliers have put these together for us. They have also given us, obviously, their certificate of analysis. But I want your people to make sure that, in fact,
Absolutely.
It is what it's supposed to be.
Correct.
The certificate I'm giving him has phony numbers, but I'm totally upfront about everything I want his lab to test for, including that arsenic.
We don't want to have problematic levels of heavy metals.
Correct. In fact, we'll be looking for lead, arsenic, cadmium, and mercury. And
So will he find the poisons?
We'll actually get these logged in today, so we're looking at
Or just rubber stamp the phony lab report we gave him? We've started our own company, created our own products, deliberately spiked them with arsenic and other poisons. And now we're about to find out if a lab will certify they're safe to sell even when they're not.
You got the samples.
That's all I need for now.
When the email arrives with his results, there are some big surprises.
I'd like to show you the results.
We take them back to the expert whose lab helped spike our samples with poisons. What about the arsenic we added to our kelp powder? Frank Jack says Dr. Patel missed it by a mile.
He's about 1,000 times too low.
1,000 times too low.
Yes, they didn't find it.
In fact, Dr. Patel missed all of our poisons. What's more, he certified some good ingredients that aren't really there.
Dr. Patel's lab essentially confirmed things that weren't there and did not recognize dangerous things that were there.
That's exactly right.
And it's beginning to look as if Dr. Patel virtually copied those phony reports we gave him. For example, arsenic. We spiked in 200 parts per million. but we wrote down 0.3. Dr. Patel's result? 0.26. Off just enough from our fake number to look like a real test.
So this number is almost identical to the number that we told him.
The phony number we submitted.
That's correct.
For this particular sample number 4.
Is it really possible that he could be so wildly wrong? Or could we somehow be misreading Dr. Patel's report? To make absolutely sure, I arrange another meeting. He still thinks I'm just a businessman, and he doesn't know we've brought along our hidden cameras.
Come on in.
First, I ask about our green powder, the one we spiked with arsenic and lead.
This would be for the kelp extract. Correct. Right.
But Dr. Patel assures me he didn't find anything unusual.
Absolutely. These are all perfectly normal.
And it's the same story with our burn weight loss powder, the one we spiked with sibutramine and selenium.
So we're in good shape.
Absolutely.
Dr. Patel is saying our poisonous supplements are safe to sell.
Doctor, there's something I need to tell you.
Okay.
It's time to tell Dr. Patel I'm not the businessman he thinks I am.
And then as I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on how bad supplements can possibly end up in stores.
Okay.
And as we pull out our regular cameras, I ask whether he's even doing the lab tests.
So the question is, did you do the test at all, or did you just come up with numbers that were close to the ones we wanted?
I understand what you're
You get what I'm saying? You know what a dry lab is,
Of
right?
course we do.
Is this a dry lab?
No, not at all. We reject products as well.
In this email, he blamed us for misleading him. When given misleading information regarding a sample's makeup, we would not be aware that the data being observed is being compromised due to matrix parameters we are not cognizant towards. Confused by that? So were we. So we met up with Dr. Patel one more time.
We came in here to test you.
Correct.
It appeared based on the first results, you failed the test.
And I agree.
So this is the HPLC.
Dr. Patel now admits he got the wrong results, but he gives scientific reasons for why the numbers could be off.
When we're looking at very small quantities, these values do deviate. They deviate hugely. What I'm trying to get to is that in the real world, a shady businessman is not trying to contaminate a product with arsenic, cadmium, and lead.
Either way, other labs didn't seem to miss what we'd planted. We took our samples to the National Center for Natural Products Research, one of the world's premier labs when it comes to supplements. Dr. Ikhlas Khan says his lab detected all of our poisons.
In the kelp we found lead and arsenic.
And were they hard to find?
No.
In fact, several other labs find our poisons too. One even warns us about high arsenic and high lead, saying our products deserve careful review before you decide to use them. But there was no warning like that from Dr. Patel.
These are all perfectly normal.
Remember, he missed everything. And somehow, as if by magic, his wrong results were virtually identical to the phony numbers we gave him. For arsenic, for lead, for sibutramine, even for selenium, the thing that caused people's hair to fall out. The bottom line is, Dr. Patel signed off on dangerous products we could have sold all across the country. We took our findings to the FDA, the government agency responsible for supplements.
We had poisons, including lead and arsenic, that the lab didn't find. Does that surprise you?
For some labs, unfortunately, no.
Daniel Fabricant is the new man in charge of regulating supplements at the Food and Drug Administration. He's soft-spoken, but serious, he says, about cracking down on contaminated supplements. If the government knows about the problem, you might think they have a program to inspect labs. Think again.
Independent labs, are they ever inspected by the FDA?
At present, we're focusing on the manufacturers and distributors.
So no labs are currently being inspected?
No.
Does that concern you?
Yes.
In America, the people who cut your hair have to be licensed, but not the labs that test the supplements you take. Two major groups representing the supplement industry declined to do on-camera interviews But in a statement, the Council for Responsible Nutrition told us, we take seriously the allegations of fraudulent laboratory practices raised by this report. And they urge the FDA to use its ample legal authority to take legal action. The Natural Products Association also said it supports government action against any laboratories that may use improper testing methods. Both groups stress the vast majority of supplements are safe. And that brings us back to Total Body Formula and the people who say they've been sickened by supplements that were never properly tested.
So to this day, and forever going forward, you're going to worry about damage to your liver,
Right.
your kidneys,
Right.
your heart,
That's right.
all because of a vitamin.
I would never have believed it if I hadn't gone through it myself.
And here's something else you might not believe. The FDA says it only has 22 full-time people at its headquarters supervising the $28 billion supplement industry. Lester?
And are there particular categories of these supplements that folks should be more concerned about?
Excellent question. The FDA says the biggest problems it's found are with weight loss formulas, muscle-building supplements, and those supplements that are supposed to help you in the bedroom.